All right, here we go. We have a packed house today. I love it. Welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. I'm your president, Farron Jacobson. And we always like to kick off our meetings with our mission statement. It's at the bottom left corner of your agenda, if you have the agenda handy. It says, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So if that is what you're here for, you are in the right spot. As far as business announcements, same one that we've been announcing every week. If you pay your October dues before December 31st, you get a free pathway. Pathway is kind of the curriculum for Toastmasters. And normally there are 11 of them, I believe. Normally you get your first one for free, but they are $20 for every other path that you want to try to take. If you pay your dues before December 31st, you get one for free that you can just keep on the back burner until you finish your current path. So that's pretty cool. We have several guests today. I saw that some of you are joining from CUSB. Natalie, Tariq, who else is here? London. Am I missing anybody? I think those are all of our guests.
Where'd you say they're joining from, Farron? Where?
USB. I think I saw that in the chat.
Okay. USB.
Yeah, we're from CSUSB.
My bad.
UCSB? Santa Barbara?
No, San Bernardino.
Oh, San Bernardino. All right. Honored.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for joining. We can go over a few of our Zoom meeting housekeeping rules. Instead of applause like we normally do, we use hands. And we also keep ourselves muted until we are called upon. And if you need to move around in your space, please turn off your video before you move around so that you're not a distraction to whoever might be speaking at the time. And if you can, please stand up while you are speaking as if we were in a regular in-person Zoom or non-Zoom meeting. I think that's about it. Is there any other business announcements I am missing, Board?
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
So this is my first time ever even hearing about Toastmasters, or obviously being in a Toastmasters meeting. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of like explain what the point of Toastmasters is and kind of what it is?
Joey, do you want to take that?
Sure. Yeah. So we love that. Love that first time you chose us to come to our meeting. Toastmasters is anytime I tell somebody at the bank, when I was a treasurer and I'd have to deposit our money from our dues, and they say, what's Toastmasters? And I'd say, you had a wedding and you give a toast. And they said, oh, so public speaking. When I first joined, it seemed to be just public speaking is what I thought the whole thing about Toastmasters, but it's a three-headed sword. It's not only the public speaking side that you get better at, but there's leadership skills that you develop. And then there's evaluation skills that you'll develop here. And I think our club's a little unique because we fit everything in one hour or so meeting. I don't want to take up too much time because we got two speeches today, but we are here. There's me, Farron, Denny, Denise, and Chanel. We're all exec boards on the executive board. So any one of us, we can reach out. Denise is our VP of membership, and she tends to talk and chat with you may have already emailed and connected with her already, but they're the ones that tend to connect with the new guests coming in and things like that. So does that kind of answer your question? And if we got a little bit more time at the end, maybe we can.
So is it kind of like an AA type of thing, like a support group in a sense?
You got it, except for public speaking.
Cool.
AA for public speakers that have fear of public speaking.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but yeah.
You got it. And you'll get a good sense as we go through this meeting. This is a perfect meeting for you to come to for the first time because we have two speeches. We'll have a full-on agenda today. So it'll be good. And you'll get to see how it flows and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Thanks for handling that, Joey, our immediate past presidents. And I will just turn the mic back over to you for Toastmaster of the Day. And the theme for today is mental health.
Cool. Thank you, Farron. All right, mental health and Thanksgiving coming up next week. We won't be meeting. We'll be going dark. We tend to do that on holiday weeks. So Thanksgiving next week, we won't be here, but it's a good time to visit mental health because of everything we're going through, especially you guys down in San Bernardino. We're all in this together, I guess, NorCal, SoCal, and Central Cal. So I wanted to discuss the 7 things you can do for your mental health. And this is just based off of my experience, some of the things that I've done that help and continue to help. But you never really get to a perfect spot. You're always struggling with something, which is fine because the struggle is real. And that's how we get better and grow in our character. So the 7 things you can do on your mental health. Number 1, and probably most important, because of these lockdowns, and especially for our kids, we're seeing a high rate in suicides. It's really, really sad, especially in the teenage range, 15 to 16-year-olds. I have my father-in-law and my brother-in-law both work at a flower shop, and they've been getting a lot of funerals recently. And when I talked to them a couple of weeks ago, I asked them why. Was it because of COVID? And they said, no, not exactly. They said it was suicides. There had been seven suicides, 15 to 16-year-old kids. And then there was one other one that was a 12-year-old kid. So the first things first, if you have anxiety, depression, please seek professional help. If you need help here, I would love if you could reach out to me. I could help point you in the right direction. My wife she works in that area at Fresno City College in the mental health area. So I would love to help if you needed help. On a little brighter note, relearning to breathe. I took about a year and you can either download the Calm app or the Headspace meditation apps. I'm Christian, so meditation can scare off spiritual people or religious people, but the Headspace app, Calm app, they're pretty good. It's just more about breathing. It's not about spirituality or anything like that. So they're pretty, for those out there that are Christians, Catholics, Muslim, they aren't that scary when it comes to that. The next one is Farron Yoga. Farron teaches yoga, and she's doing what she's saying, a lot of it online right now. And so yoga, I taught yoga. I'm an instructor a long time ago. And I could tell you that yoga is awesome. When you do an hour and a half session, afterwards, you feel like you're in Hawaii, like you've just got into Hawaii, and it's a beautiful feeling. So yoga, Farron does that. Read or listen to autobiographies or biographies or podcasts of famous people you look up to, inspire you. Those are always really good. Watch less of the news, which I, over the last couple of weeks, have been trying to do, because positive in, positive out, negative in, negative out. Wake up every morning and journal the 3 things you're grateful for. That's always pretty good. It could be as simple as, hey, it's sunny outside, or the weather's nice. It could be as simple as that. That's always good. Again, I mentioned positive in, positive out. So those are my 7 things you can do to work on your mental health as we get into the Thanksgiving season. So that is the theme, and I will pass the baton over to our general evaluator of the day, who is Mr. Storm Davis.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. So my name is Storm. I'm your general evaluator. I'll be telling everybody, giving all the rules of who's doing what. The odd counter is Denny Mason, and I'll let her tell you about that.
Hi, everyone. So for our new people, this is one of the fun things that we do in Toastmasters. It sounds a little scary at first, but it's kind of fun. This is how we keep our sense of humor. I'm the odd counter, so that means everybody that's given a speech today, whether it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, or if it's our topics, which is a 2-minute speech, I'm going to count how many times you say or ah, or but, or so, words that are crutch words. And we find that by doing that and just keeping track of them, and we just keep it light and keep it fun, but by keeping track of them, it makes us more conscious of the words that we're using as we speak. And over time, we become better and use those words much less. So I'll give a report at the end of the meeting, and nothing's too serious here. We keep it light. Thanks.
So our timer of the day is Sonia, and I'll let her introduce what that is.
And I'm going to be taking over for Sonia. I'm Taylor, and I will be the timer today. And I'll be timing the speakers, our table topics, and the evaluators. And I have the Toastmasters app. When it's yellow, that means you need to start wrapping up. And then when it's red, that means that your time is up. And that's it.
Thank you, Taylor. All right, so the Zoom master of the day is Farron Jacobson.
Thank you, everybody. I am Zoom Master for the day. We upload these videos afterwards to YouTube. So when people are speaking, I am spotlighting their video so that they will come up nice and big on YouTube, and everyone else will be in gallery mode when we're in table topics or something else like that. That's it.
Thank you, Farron. Now, Joey, did I open up the speaker first, our first speaker, Winnie?
Yeah, we could do that. I'll do the word of the day too. You want me to do that?
Thank you. I missed that. Thank you.
That's okay. I'll do that and then I'll introduce our first speakers. Thank you, Storm. So word of the day, as many you can see in the chat there, is irenic. Irenic, it's an adjective. The definition is tending to promote peace or reconciliation, peaceful or conciliatory. Used in a sentence, when casual readers of poetry think about Heine, his Irishness, his charisma, his connection to thousands of years of poetic tradition, and his irenic political attitudes first come to mind. So what you're going to do with the word of the day, and this is for, we can't call it a fine jar, it's an investment jar, but if you don't use the word of the day, if you have been a member for 6 months and beyond, you owe, I think it's like 50 cents or 30 cents or something like that. If you've been with us for 6 months or less, you don't have to worry about the fine jar or the investment jar. So I'm going to be keeping track of those that use the word of the day. And at the end, as we start wrapping up reports, I will talk about who used it. Thank you. All right, so now we will get into our speakers. Let me pull up my screen here. Speech info. Our first speaker today is Winnie Gao. This is her second speech. She is speaking from Pathways, which for those that are brand new, Pathways is the curriculum, the speech curriculum that you will work from, and you will start from speech 1, which is the icebreaker, and then you'll go on from there. But each pathway is a little different. It could be communication, it could be leadership pathway, it could be many different pathways that you can either choose or take an evaluation to get into. And she's working on level 1, project number 2, so speech number 2. The goal of this speech is to stand in front of an audience and deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech. The speaker is going to share her challenging story and hiking experience. The title of her speech is The First Hiking Experience. Please help me welcome Winnie Gao and her speech title, The First Hiking Experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Fellow Toastmaster, most welcome guests. My name is Winnie. I would like to share about my first hiking experience. How many of you like hiking? Wow, thank you. Do you think hiking is challenging for you? Yes, I think so. Hiking is so challenging for me. My first hiking was invented with some friend in 2008. I didn't know what hiking meant. I only knew we traveled by train to Wutai Mountain from Beijing. Wutai Mountain is one of the famous mountains of Buddhism. There is a total of 5 mountains surrounding the entire area. That's why it's called Wutai Mountain. Wutai means 5. Before the hiking, I didn't see any specific map or hiking trail, mentioning me the hiking would be very, very long and difficult. I thought just walking and playing with some friend would be fun. Do you think going somewhere with some friend would be exciting? Yes, I was so excited. However, when we arrived at Wutai Mountain, I was beginning to regret my decision because the mountain was incredibly dark and the air was unbelievable cold. I was beginning to regret my decision. I asked myself, why did I come hiking? Why didn't I sleep in my warm bed? What's the meaning for me to go hiking? I thought over and over. I knew I could not go back. I had to enjoy hiking with my friend. This is a hiking plan that I didn't see it before the hiking. I found it from my friend. She has been kept for 12 years. Can you imagine? Already 12 years. We started hiking from here. Then we went to the East Mountain, where we saw the sunrise at 5 a.m. It took about 40 minutes to get there on time. After sunrise, we went to the North Mountain. North Mountain's altitude is 3,061 meters. It's about 3 to 5 hours walking on the long road. Then from North Mountain downhill to the Central Mountain was a delightful experience with clouds in the sky and mist in the air. Next, we went to the West Mountain. From West Mountain to the Temples Road, we became lost on our final destination. We couldn't find our direction and our cell phone didn't have signals. One of the members ran 2 miles to find the signals. Finally, we found our direction and we had dinner in the Jixiang Temple. It was really the best meal of the day. The whole hiking trip was 20 miles and a total of 12 hours hiking. Throughout the hiking trip, I was determined to keep going, and I enjoy spending time overcoming difficulties together with my group. The process of overcoming difficulties provided me joy and energy to keep going. I began setting little goals in my mind and continue one step at a time. I set a goal to climb one mountain at a time, and at the top of the mountain, I could see a temple. I finished my whole hiking trip and overcoming difficulties to reach all 5 of temples. This is me. After my first hiking, I continued hiking with my group many times. This picture is my group picture. I love hiking because hiking helps me relax, provided me enjoyable experiences. It also disconnects my soul, and through the challenges and difficulties, life is full of opportunities to grow. I will continue my challenging myself through hiking, language, and in life. Fellow Toastmaster.
Thank you, Winnie. Timely for our mental health themed day today. Thank you for sharing. Sarah says, word of the day is not in the chat. Is it not in the chat? Is everybody seeing it or not seeing it?
I saw it in the chat.
You saw it?
And Winnie, can you give host back to me, please?
Sorry, how give to you?
If you can hover over my name, click more, and then it should say make host.
Over her video, Winnie. So there's those 3 dots.
Oh,
Click that. I think I click that.
Host.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Winnie. Thanks for sharing. All right, next speech is Chanel. And this is one we get to see where Chanel put it together last minute, which isn't always a bad thing. I always tell our Toastmasters that that's a good skill to have, because at some point you're going to have your employer, or you're going to have, if you're at your company, you need to put together a quick speech, or like Denny said, Channel 30 News is coming over to your house in 10 minutes and you got to be able to put something together. So her speech, let me see, extra. So she's asking for a little extra practice, but I think we can probably fit this into her pathways to get credit. That's what I told her. Extra practice speech. The title of the speech is A Framework for Mental Illness. So another timely topic for today's theme. Chanel is excited to introduce the topic of mental health in her speech today. Chanel's goal is to challenge misconceptions and misunderstandings surrounding mental health by providing an accurate and clear conceptual framework. She hopes to use her Toastmaster skills in the future to speak and present on issues of mental health. Everybody put your put your hands in the wiggles for Chanel West in her speech titled A Framework for Mental Illness.
Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome guests all the way from Santa Barbara. Super happy to have you. I will be honest up front, I considered not doing this speech at all this week because I did not have it planned. But a couple days ago, I looked at the agenda for today and saw that today's topic was mental health, which was the exact topic that I had planned to share on. And I thought, oh, I have to do it. It's a sign. I have to at least say something. I'm going to start off by telling you all about a friend of mine who's in this picture with me. I'm just going to refer to her as Jay to protect her and provide anonymity. She is a girl that I met in high school and we became friends about sophomore year. Super sweet, really kind spirit. We became close very quickly. However, I began to notice after a while of being friends with her that she had some health issues that she was not extremely willing to talk about. There were several times that we were out together and she had to go home quickly or leave all of a sudden, and I wasn't exactly sure why. When I finally talked to her about it, she said that she was very reluctant to divulge the reason to me, but I continued to press because I tend to be very curious. And she finally confided in me that she had paranoid schizophrenia, which, as most of you probably know, is a fairly severe mental illness that involves psychosis, or at times you can lose touch from reality. I was 14 at that time, and that was actually the first time that I had ever heard of that particular illness, and I really didn't know what it meant. However, since then, I have been able to learn a lot of things about mental health and mental illness and what it really means. And today I would like to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I have learned over the years. Now, to clarify, what I am not going to do today is tell you about the different types of mental illnesses or try to define exactly or tell you about how to diagnose mental illness. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist. And so for those questions, please seek out other resources. However, I am going to, as Joey said in the introduction, try to provide just a few statements that can help you to think about this subject in a way that is beneficial. So firstly, mental health conditions are conditions that affect a person's thinking, feeling, mood, or behavior. That is a basic definition of what a mental illness or a mental health condition is. Now, we all have mental health conditions in some way. Everybody gets sad at times, everybody gets angry, everybody has moments where they feel like the world is crumbling around them, they don't understand what's going on. However, mental health conditions usually get diagnosed as actual mental illnesses when the symptoms are severe enough to disrupt average daily functioning. So for example, being depressed because maybe one day it's raining outside and you're not feeling so great, or being sad about a grade on a test are things that are more situational. But however, if those feelings tend to last for a long period of time, to the point that the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts are seriously disrupting your life over an extended period of time, that's when it actually becomes diagnosed as a mental illness. So that's a quick definition so that we're on the same page. I'm going to pose this question to everybody today, and then I am going to partially answer it with 4 statements following. What should be our framework for thinking about mental illness? I found that a lot of people can be confused by this topic, largely for reasons of ignorance or just not having really taken the time to study and understand. So the first point to provide a framework that I would like to provide is that mental illnesses do have physiological, or you could say biological, roots. This is really important to understand because the things that happen in our mental illnesses or our thoughts and our emotions are connected at some level to our biology and physically what is going on inside of us. Now, most of you probably know that the brain is the most complex organ in the body. For those reasons, science and understanding the brain has not come far enough in all areas to explain exactly why mental illness affects our brain in certain ways. So the reason is not always entirely known, but science has come far enough to tell that it does have biological roots. It's not something that is just all in our thoughts or in our minds. Number two, mental illness is often diagnosed symptomatically. This means that because, as I said before, the brain is such a complex organ and very difficult to study, there are things called neurotransmitters in the brain that function similarly to hormones, except they are a lot more difficult to study than hormones. Because of this, oftentimes the only way to diagnose mental illnesses as of now is to look at the symptoms rather than to be able to get to the exact direct physical cause. This is important to understand primarily because we should not discount people's mental illness or mental health struggles simply because the biological root remains unknown. We must understand that for people to get to the point of being diagnosed with a mental illness that has been disrupting their life seriously enough that they considered it necessary to consider mental illness as a possibility. Number three, mental illness is not a casserole illness. This is a quote actually that I took from a friend of mine who has bipolar 1, which is the more severe form of bipolar that involves really low periods of depression and then really high periods of mania. And he has said that mental illness is not a casserole illness because it's not the type of sickness where people usually bring you a casserole or dinners. Like perhaps somebody who is sick with cancer or just got done having surgery, or an elderly person who might be sick in bed with the flu or the cold. Those are situations where people tend to feel comfortable to reach out and to try to help. Unfortunately, because mental illness is not still widely understood by everybody, it can be a little bit more taboo, and people don't always reach out to help in this way. Because of that, people with certain mental conditions can feel very isolated and alone. This is just something to be aware of when considering how you can interact with people who might struggle with mental illness. And number four, as with physical disease, caring for mental illness requires time and attention. This is important to note because people who have mental illnesses are going to need to take the time to properly care for their condition. If somebody has diabetes, it's easy for us to understand why they would need to be on a certain exercise regimen or eat a certain way. If somebody has a really low immune system, it might be easier for us to understand why they don't want to leave the house or go certain places and be exposed to possible diseases that are around them. These are, of course, physical illnesses that we know the biological root of, and it's easy for us to understand. However, the same principle applies to mental illnesses, is that people will need to take the time to properly care for their condition, and we need to be patient and understanding about why they are taking that time. And then there's me. To finish real quickly, one reason that this topic is so important to me is because I have struggled with mental health conditions as well. Not severe ones like some of my friends who have schizophrenia or bipolar. I've never experienced psychosis, which is a detachment from reality. But I have spent long periods of my life being really depressed or feeling intense anxiety. And because of these things, I think that I have an understanding on some level of what people with more severe mental illnesses experience. And I'm hoping that in the future, I can use this knowledge and these experiences to help explain to others what it is like to be in these situations. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chanel. Thank you for sharing so much. I always say, and many of you have heard me say this a lot, is one of the biggest powers to Toastmasters is that we learn to take the fear, which fear is always going to be there. The fear of not sharing our message like that, like you shared, Chanel, and like when he shared, if that fear doesn't allow you to share that message, then other people don't get to hear it. And many of us have really good messages that need to get out, but that's what Toastmasters helps us do, is get more comfortable, shrink the fear down. Again, not get rid of it completely, but shrink it down to the point where we can hear that message. And if anybody needs help, if we can save one person or more, that's great. So thanks for that. Thanks for sharing, Chanel, and you too, Winnie. Thank you for sharing those speeches. We will change gears and shift over to our table topics portion of the meeting. And that is going to be Sarah Dawson from Awesome Dawson Cookies, which eventually we're going to get her to open up a bakery and actually make those, because when we were meeting in person, she had some and they were delicious, but I don't know, we're going to have to keep on her. It's going to take a group effort to keep her doing it. She's going to talk about what Table Topics is and maybe a little benefit, and then she will present the topic. So Sarah, take it away.
Thank you, Joey. And yeah, I would never want to open up a bakery, but thanks. I had actually looked into it once and like all the costs and all that kind of stuff. And then I decided, you know, it's hard enough just making one batch here and there, let alone having to do that every single day. Not my forte. But let's see. So table topics. So table topics is a time when we all get to participate and share. This includes any of the guests are more than welcome to jump in on this portion. It's a time for us to practice speaking on the fly, or it's called extemporaneous speaking, where you can just, you're asked a question and you're able to respond immediately and quickly with a good response. We generally like it to be limited between 1 and 2 minutes. So not too short and not too long, kind of in that little zone right there. Our topics today, our theme today has been mental health, and we've gotten to hear a wide variety of those kind of things. And so these questions are centered around mental health. We have 5 different questions. And so whoever wants to go first, you can just tell me a number between 1 and 5, and I will read you their question and give you a chance to go ahead and respond. Like I said, it's open to all of guests and members. Who would like to go first?
Go.
All right. Danny, 1 through 5. Which one? What's your number?
3.
3. All right. Many people have had times in their life when they felt hopeless. Have you or someone you know ever felt that way? And what happened to go from hopeless to hopeful? So it's a 2-part question. Have you or someone you know ever felt that way? And then what happened to go from hopeless to hopeful?
What a great question. Absolutely. I think everybody comes to certain points in life where things look hopeless, whether it's from losing a job or a relationship breaking up or a pandemic or any number of things where our expectations fall through. I have a great solution for that, and it took a long time to get that going, but we have a bunch of girlfriends and we get together. And I know that if I'm going through a situation, when I see those girlfriends, which we get together at least twice a month for just an hour before work, and in our case, we're Christians, so we have our Bible there and we have a verse that we're looking at, but we also use that time to share whatever's going on in our lives. And if one person is hopeless or really struggling with something, then we devote that time to listening, talking, sharing our experience, laughing. By the time we leave there, we're not hopeless anymore. And I think the key to that is knowing that hopelessness causes us to feel alone. And once we realize that we're not the only person that's gone through this before, and that there is some hope on the other side because somebody else has come out of it, it's much easier to see a brighter side. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
I muted myself. Thank you so much, Danny, for that. That was really encouraging, and I really appreciate you sharing that honestly. It's awesome. Who would like to go next?
I'll go.
Oh, yay, Heather. All right. Well, 1 through 5, what's your number?
Let's do number 2.
Number 2. Number 2 is, what kind of things do you do to keep your mind sharp and healthy?
Ooh, I like to do a lot of reading and listening to books. I don't know if it quite sharpens my mind, but I think that it is very helpful. I find it to be a great way to release any stress I may be having. Let's see. Definitely reading is my go-to. I like to think working out would be, but honestly, these last couple months, it has not been. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I'd have a better answer for that one, but mainly reading and listening and a little bit of writing too. I find that if I get it out on paper, out of my head, out, it's easier to process and to see kind of these issues that may be bothering me. And maybe it wasn't a big issue. And then now it's out of my head and I can see it's like, oh, okay. And I'm able to let it go. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Heather. I totally agree, like getting it out. Like there's some things that could be like on my mind, and it's, you know, I'm mulling it over for like 2 hours and I write it on paper and it's like 2 paragraphs. You're like, okay, that was so much better.
Right.
Yes. All right, thank you so much, Heather. Anybody else would like to go next?
I'll go.
Oh, great. And do you say your name Luden?
London.
Oh, London. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry too. I'm outside, so if you like can't hear me at all or I'm breaking up, just let me know. But what were the options that were chosen already?
Number 2 and number 3 have been chosen. And you're more than welcome, if you like one of those questions, to repeat it or just try your hat at a new one.
I'll try 4.
4? All right. When you think of mental health, what comes to mind?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I would say when I think of mental health, I think of basically how healthy your conscious is. And I do have a strong belief that your gut health and the way that you treat your body is solely connected to your mental health. So basically, if you know you're getting enough vitamin D outside, if you know you have a proper circadian rhythm, if you're giving your body nutrients, like your mental health. I mean, of course, as Chanel said in her speech, there's a lot of biological connections that's things in our control to benefit our mental health. So,
nice. Thank you so much, London.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, London.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right.
Sarah probably got time for one more.
Okay. Who wants to be our final person? Anybody? Guess?
I'll go.
Who said that? Wait.
Taylor.
Oh, Taylor? Yeah, Taylor. Okay. Which number would you like?
Was 1 chosen?
It was not.
I'll do 1.
All right. Number 1. There are some who think that if they go see a therapist, they are crazy. Would you agree or disagree? Why or why not?
I would disagree because everyone should go to therapy. Yeah, I think that it's good to go to therapy because it's just good to talk to someone who is not your friend or your mom or your relative. It's just good to have that objective opinion. And I think that with therapy, they can also like be very honest with you, and you'll receive that better as well. So I recommend that everyone do it.
Nice.
Thanks for sharing, Taylor.
Appreciate that. So I don't know if many of you guys know, but I am actually a marriage and family therapist. I'm not currently practicing. I'm just supervising at this point, but I really appreciated hearing your guys' answers. There's a lot of people who do think, oh, if I do go, I'm crazy. But I'm like, you're not crazy. It's just everybody needs a little bit of different perspective sometimes, and it's nice. I think the other funny thing that I always face, well, not always, but I had several times, is people thought I was a mind reader. So if you actually do go to a therapist, they are not a mind reader. You actually have to talk and tell them something because they can't read your mind. Sometimes they can read your body language and kind of call you out on it, but no, we don't know everything. So we did not learn that skill. So thank you so much for your guys' time and sharing in table topics. And I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, the general evaluator, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Storm Davis.
Thank you very much. So our general evaluator for believe it is Winnie's speech, is Sarah Dawson.
Okay. Winnie, thank you so much for being so brave and being able to get up here and do this. It was great. Some of the things I really loved about your speech is your good questions. You were super relatable, and being able to engage people and being able to say, has anybody ever done this? And got us thinking about our first experiences, or, you know, just our experiences hiking. And throughout the speech, we were able to kind of relate like all the challenges that you faced and all the circumstances. I've taken many first-time hikers out hiking, and yeah, it's really, really difficult. Sometimes they don't have the proper equipment and all that. And for you to keep going, that was phenomenal. I thought one of the things you did really well was you spoke slowly so that we could hear you. Your pictures and your visuals were perfect. They added so much to it with all that, like we could see like what you were saying, like the different places that you were hiking and how far it was and the little pictures that went along with it. Your visuals were fantastic. It appealed to my sense of adventure too. Your entire story. It just got me excited about going hiking again and overcoming difficulties. And I think that's one of the things that I love about hiking, or I love taking new people, is because they get to overcome this things that they never thought they could do, and then they get to do it is fantastic. And so we got to hear about your struggles with this and how it made you a better person and how it opened your horizons, and be able to see that. And so just being able to, it was like very clear, like all the way through. You were very organized from the beginning to the end about what the purpose of your speech was, and you followed it all the way. You did not distract from it at all. And then you even told us why you like it. So it made it more personable and relatable. So many things were really awesome. The thing I would probably challenge you on, the one piece is when you're speaking, it is clear that you were prepared. It still sounds a little memorized rather than just like speaking from your heart. So taking that to the next level and the next step, because you're doing a fantastic job with your organization and how you're speaking and doing all that. So just to challenge yourself, I would say next one, try and make it a little bit more unmemorized and rehearsed. And so it's just speaking from where you are. If you have any questions, I would absolutely love to talk to you. You did a fantastic job, Winnie. So good job. And I'll turn it back over to Storm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, very much for that. Now, our second evaluator is Farron Jacobson, and she'll be evaluating Chanel West's speech.
Thank you, Storm. Chanel, I think you did a fantastic job. You said you had minimal preparation. I really enjoyed the structure of your speech. I love how you started with a personal anecdote talking about your friend who has paranoid schizophrenia. And then you also ended your speech with a personal anecdote about yourself. And in between, you told us that you were going to have a 4-part framework, and you gave us all 4 parts of that framework. So I really like the structure and how everything played out. I love how you explain the difference between situational emotions versus mental illnesses that disrupt your daily life. I think it was important to make that distinction before you started your framework. One thing that I know I will remember after this is the 3rd part of your framework, where you said it's not a casserole illness. I like how you also incorporated a story within that. It just makes it more memorable to say, you know, this is a quote that I got from my friend who explained it this way. And just having something that I hadn't heard before, that's really going to stick with me. I think you had great hand gestures and eye contact throughout, even though you were screen sharing. I was watching your screen, but I was also watching you. And I noticed that you did use your hands, and they were perfectly in your Zoom frame. And you made eye contact. It didn't seem like you were looking at notes too often. Maybe it's because your screen was up and you could refer to your screen, but I think you did a fantastic job with all of that. To challenge yourself, I would say to weave a little bit more of your stories into your speech. So giving that 4-part framework, I think I'll remember 1 for sure, maybe 2, because of the stories. But if you continued that throughout the entire thing and used a story for each separate thing, it would just help me remember it more. So that's a way just to challenge yourself. And then also maybe circle back to your opening story when you finish, just another way to challenge. I also noticed that, did you just have a wardrobe change? No?
After my speech.
Yeah, I was like, you look so presentable during your speech, and I like how you're just like casual now. So I think it's really cool that you present yourself very well for your speech. You are, you take care of yourself. You look very presentable. You wear clothes as if you were in an actual meeting and not a Zoom meeting. I mean, I'm over here in a sweatshirt because we're on Zoom, and I just like that you make yourself look very presentable when you're coming onto a virtual meeting. I think that's about it. Great job on your speech today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Farron.
Awesome, thank you. So Denny Mason was our counter and ums. So I'll hand that over to her.
Hi, everybody. Winnie, you did really well. I didn't hear any crutch words, and I think that's due to your preparation. So you're off the hook, Winnie. That was very good. Chanel, I had a little tisk in between a few sentences there, so that's something to work on. It sounds like this, like that. For table topics, Heather, you were great. Now, this is just something fun that we do, you guys. So I hope you don't mind that I'm pointing these things out. So for our new people, I'm going to say there are a few words that can be worked on. Like is one of them. Somehow like gets into those sentences very easily. And it's just an extra word. It doesn't mean anything or do anything except buy us time. So if you can work on paying attention to those likes, and so is also another one that does that. Sarah, you're a like and so person also. I've got a few of those in there. And Farron, I only caught one on you. Thanks, you guys. You did a great job.
All right, I'm going to hand it over to Taylor. She is our timer of the day, and she'll give that report.
I had a quick question real quick. I was just curious. Is is a crutch word? Is that, yeah? Okay, I agree. I just wasn't sure. Okay, cool, thanks.
And kind of. That's another one that sneaks in there too. I use that one, by the way.
They're words that out of habit we tend to overuse, I guess. It's not that you can never use those. It's just that if they don't add to the speech.
You can really get them in a transcription. If you transcript your audio, you can find where they're at. The so's are the big one. You'll start a sentence with so, and I still do that. And I have to go through the transcription and edit that out. You can pretty much take it out and the sentence doesn't lose meaning.
All right, can I do the timer report now? Okay, so for speaker number 1, Winnie, you were at 5 minutes and 9 seconds. Chanel, you were at 9 minutes and 25 seconds. And our table topics, we had Denny at 1 minute and 40 seconds, Heather at 50 seconds, London at 58 seconds, myself at 31. Sarah, the evaluator, was 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and evaluator 2, Farron, was at 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
All right, thank you, Taylor. So our word of the day was ironic, and that is Joey's going to give that report for the day.
Thank you, Storm. And I might have missed some because of the ironic atmosphere environment that we had today, and everything from table topics to speeches and evaluations. I didn't catch one. Did anybody say it that I missed? Different word, tough word, but it did go with the theme. So I thought it was pretty good. So there's my report, Storm.
Thank you, Joey. Yeah, we didn't catch it, do it very well. All right, so I'm going to turn it back to our president of the day, or president, Farron Jacobs.
So Storm, give us just a general evaluation of how the meeting went, and then go ahead and give it to Farron.
Thank you. So the meeting started on time, and we went through 2 speeches, turned out really, really well. I like to win Winnie's and Chanel's speech, because mental health is one of those big things, especially for this time in COVID. We talked about our times, counters, and word of the day, and everything turned out really well, started on time, and it'll end on time. And I'll hand it back to Farron.
I'm muted. Thank you, Storm. All right, great meeting today, you guys. I hope that the guests enjoyed it. I'll give an opportunity to the guests to say anything that they would like. Any questions, comments, and concerns? We can go there first. Natalie, Tariq, London. Or maybe tell
I
us.
don't
why
have
you're
any.
here.
Oh, well, we all three of us are actually in a communications class together for public speaking, and our professor Brenda Romblowski, she put an assignment for us to create a Toastmasters paper, but really this was just to encourage us to get some support and some feedback as far as our skills on public speaking.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, London, and welcome.
Thank you.
Cool. Natalie, Tariq, would you like to chime in on any of that? Or let us know what you got out of today's meeting?
I would like to say that I wish I knew about Toastmasters when I was in college, because I majored in communication too, and the number one thing that always terrified me was public speaking. So I think that this is really cool, and I am definitely ready to take that next step. So I don't know if that's Denise that I need to get in touch with, so I should email her about that. Okay, cool. Then I will do that.
Do you have her email, Heather?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Glad that you're joining.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'm excited.
Boom.
I just want to say, like, I I appreciate this this group and this Toastmasters. Obviously, as you can see, I say a lot. I think that's one of the biggest things I have to work on in terms of like giving speeches or just even talking in general. But I've never been like afraid to like public speak. I'm a very like open person, and yeah, so I definitely just need to work on like saying in all my sentences and stuff like that. But I like this meeting, and I think it's good for people who struggle with it.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, you just practice. That's how you get better.
Yep.
Yep, lots of practice. Cool. We like to give rewards out. Normally we give stickers and we put them on our little name tags, but since we are virtual, we just give virtual stickers to people who spoke and then also did multiple roles. So a sticker to Winnie and to Chanel for your awesome speeches today. Thank you so much. And it was cool that you were also on our theme. I love when speeches mesh up with our theme. It's really awesome. Any birthdays coming up? Anybody? No? Okay.
Chanel.
Oh, Chanel, I didn't see that. When is your birthday?
My birthday is on Sunday. I will be 24.
Ooh.
Awesome. Happy birthday. We
Happy
won't sing for you, 'cause singing on Zoom is really cool. And did anyone take on multiple roles today?
I did Toastmaster, grammarian.
Awesome. Virtual sticker to you. Let's see, let's fill out next week's agenda. Actually, we're done next week. So let's just get some things taken care of for December 1st. We have speakers, Denny and myself. Denny, are you still good to go speaking?
Uh-huh.
Cool. Toastmaster for that day? Anybody? Okay, I'm gonna make Sonia Toastmaster.
Sarah, boom.
Oh, Sarah.
You can take it. You can take it.
No, Sarah.
Table topics master. Anyone committing to December 1st table topics?
You have to
Right.
be like a full-on member to start like taking on those roles, or?
Yes, but you will be, won't you?
Are you going to be a member before then, Heather?
I mean, I don't know. I definitely want to like now, so.
Let's assume so. So we'll put
Okay.
you'll be
Let's
table
just-
topics master.
Okay, table
Put me
topics.
for general evaluator, Farron, for that day,
Okay.
Put you down for general? Okay.
please.
Awesome. Grammarian?
I'll be a grammarian.
Thanks, Chanel. I'll counter.
Taylor, you want to do that?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay. Timer. Storm or Winnie?
Oh yeah, I could take any of
Storm?
those.
Awesome.
Storm?
Yeah.
I'll be Zoom master again. Just keep it
Do we need
easy after the
evaluators?
holiday. And I think we're good to go.
Evaluators? I'll evaluate Denny's.
Evaluators, speech evaluators for Denny or myself. Who would
I'll
like
get
to-
Denny.
Denny's? Okay.
I would love to evaluate a speech because I know that I need more practice.
Evaluate now. We'll switch
You got
off.
Farron, Chanel.
All right, got it.
And then a speaker on December 8th, I have Joey. Would anyone else like to give a speech on December 8th? Planning ahead.
I think I still owe an icebreaker speech, so I can just do it then.
Yep.
All right, got you down. And just remember that we are not meeting next week because of Thanksgiving. Anything else I'm missing? Any other comments, questions?
So
Yep.
just to confirm, it is December 1st is our next meeting date, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Awesome.
Wow, I really liked today. That was awesome with Winnie's speech, all the pictures.
Mhm.
That's fantastic.
I agree. Oh, one other thing I wanted to ask. I've been coming up with all of the meeting themes. And so if anyone has any suggestions, please email me themes for the meetings because sometimes I'm just grasping at straws, throwing stuff in there. So yeah, definitely email me with any meeting themes that you have ideas for.
You're doing a great job, Farron.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the president's role, it's got
Move
its challenges. You're
Yeah.
doing good.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you on December 1st.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
And happy
Thank you, guys.
birthday, Chanel.
Yeah, happy
Bye,
birthday,
thank
Chanel.
you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Bye.